quick check on the XBX Bitcoin price. Right now trading above $52,000 and 60 and some change. Up about 7.5% over the past 24 hours, according to TradeBlock data. BTC is up about 70% year to date with a $950 billion market cap. The market value of all cryptocurrencies has topped $1.5 trillion. And joining me now with some BTC markets analysis is CoinDesk Director of Data and Indexes, Galen Moore in Boston. Welcome, Galen.
Thanks, Christine.
All right. Well, first off, I'd love to hear your take on what data sticks out to you as you see Bitcoin's incredible record-setting rally.
You know, I think it's, I think honestly, the most important data powering this, the most important numbers powering this rally are the numbers that reflect institutional involvement. So if you look to things like the rise of exchanges like LMAX, which deals exclusively with institutional investors, if you look to the growth in the CME Bitcoin futures markets, which are now above, I think, 2.5 billion in open interest, you now have a universe where institutions can participate, and there are signals that they are. So we're no longer in a kind of retail enthusiasm, kind of people rushing in speculative mode, but more in a world in which people can participate and profit whether number go up or number go down. And I think that's a much more sustainable footing to be on. So, you know,
Right.
the comparison to 2017 is obvious, but I would say there are some significant differences.
You have a couple of charts to show us. The first is exchange downtime incidents and daily price. So what does this tell us?
Yeah, so I was looking at the, well, first of all, looking ahead to the Robinhood hearings on Capitol Hill tomorrow. And, you know, my goal was really to set a low bar for these charts and try to make them more informationally useful than I think those hearings will be. I think the hearings, we're not probably going to learn much about future regulatory footing on securities or you know, improvements in capital markets.
Do you think they'll have any impact on Bitcoin?
You know, I think the only impact they can have on Bitcoin is positive. The more people think about these questions, the more they start to think about alternatives, the more they become curious. But I do think it's, you know, it's an instructive comparison to look at the way trading is set up in crypto markets versus the way it's set up in equities markets. So the Robinhood story in a nutshell is, you know, the GameStop price ran up. The clearinghouse that the brokerage Robinhood works with demanded more money to secure the sort of risk between the trade and the settlement, which is a 2-day period in equities. And you know, that sort of stopping of trading is what's created this huge kerfuffle, right? They had to halt trading as a result. The truth is that kind of halt happens frequently in crypto markets as well, as this chart shows. The price goes up or down by a significant amount. You see a lot of new volume flooding into the market. And, you know, the exchanges, now crypto exchanges don't have clearinghouses. They don't have brokerages. Individuals interact directly with the market through the exchange. They move funds right onto the exchange. But you have this, so they have an innovative system that's eliminated a middleman, but you still have technology in the middle, and technology can fail. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at the 4 exchanges that make up the XBX Bitcoin price, which are Bitstamp, Coinbase, Kraken, and LMAX. Bitstamp did not have any outage incidents in the first couple months of the year here so far, as reported by the Down Detector service, which, you know, tracks outages, reported outages on various services, including crypto exchanges. So we left them off, and LMAX data is being institution only, is not available in that way. So we're looking at Kraken and Coinbase, 2 of the largest exchanges that are accessible to U.S. investors. And
well, I see that, you know, with Coinbase, there's on January 11th, we see a huge spike and a huge spike in the volumes as well. What does that tell us? I think you mentioned something. I think you mentioned once, you know, about the maturity of the asset, you know, as the price.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's a telling moment, right? I mean, well, it's not necessarily a moment. This has been the case for some time. If you look back to 2017, it wasn't uncommon to see volumes kind of go up and down with the price. Price go up, volume on exchange goes up, right? As the price is going up, more and more people are paying attention, more people are rushing in. The price goes down, interest wanes. And that's not typical. In a typical stock market environment, you see the price moves in either direction. Volumes go up as people come into the market looking to buy or sell. And what's interesting is you're now beginning to see that with volumes and prices in the crypto markets as well. When the price crashes, volume goes up, and I think that's a healthy sign of maturity in those markets. This chart here, I think just merely makes the point that when volume goes up, a lot of times you have multiple exchanges failing at those moments. And we were looking at, I think on an earlier slide, we had Binance thrown into the mix as well, just to provide some perspective on another major exchange. And you can see that there are multiple exchanges failing on the days when the price is moving, when it's either dipping below a threshold point or when it's rising or falling. And those tend to be the days in this market where volume is increasing, and you see these technical difficulties coming into play,
Yeah,
preventing.
I can imagine there'll be technical difficulties today with the price surge.
Possible. It's quite possible. The point is, it's, people rail against the middleman, right? But if you can't trade and you feel like you're losing money, it doesn't really matter whether the middleman is an algorithm or a brokerage or a clearinghouse. It's still a frustrating experience.
All right, Galen, thank you so much for your time and your insights. We'll be watching the price, and we'll be watching those Robinhood hearings.
Thanks, Christine. Good to be here.